Hey yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for tuning into Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Saturday, December the 9th, 2017, and you are here once again for your weekend wrestling update right here and right now on the newest, fastest wrestling podcast in all of YouTube, baby, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me once again. My name, of course, is Nick Nightmare. With me, as always, is my trusty companion, my tag team partner, and most importantly, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Baloo the Snowball. And we want to thank you for joining us here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com today. We have got a great show. It is Ladies' Night once again here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you enjoy today's broadcast, it is very important that you take a moment to flex your muscles, flex your powers a little bit, and punch that thumbs up button. Punch that like button right in the mouth, because this show is that awesome that you can't just click it. You can't just press the like button. You don't just click it with your little mouse. You gotta punch it right in the face, because this show is fucking awesome. And you guys can be awesome. As you see down below me, you can be awesome. All you have to do is like this video, share it with your friends. Anybody you know that loves pro wrestling and that would maybe like me, share it amongst the community at your will. Share it among the masses. Let's spread the word. And most importantly, if you are not a member of this family, and you are not a subscriber yet, you're not part of the Sledgehammer Club, what's wrong with you? Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, ring-a-ding-ding, that little bell right next to the subscribe button, and you will be notified every single time a video just like this goes up. You will be the first to know. All you got to do is ring that bell. Follow me on Twitter. If you don't already do so, it's spelled out for you guys right there in the little tag. Also, become a fan of our Facebook page. Check us out at facebook.com/The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. I almost said Sledgehammer TV. In hindsight, I wish I would have done that because it's much shorter. But nevertheless, it's facebook.com/The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. All one word. Check us out. Become a fan. Keep in touch with everything that's going on this channel over there on Facebook as well. And this episode, of course, is brought to you by our sponsor, Clutch Chairs. Don't forget to check them out. The link will be in the description below. Check them out. Look at all the great chairs they got. Maybe you love AJ Styles. He's got a chair. Maybe you love yourself a little Bailey. You want to be hugged by her chair. It's probably nice and cozy when you're sitting there. Maybe it feels like it's giving you a hug. These chairs are good for your back. And they got great computer desks for all of your home entertainment needs. Go check out Clutch Chairs right now. Just click that link to do so. And those are all the ways you can help support this show, which is all I want. Thank you guys so much for your continued love and support. This is, of course, part number 2 for this weekend. If you missed part number 1, I don't know where you were yesterday, but it's there for you live on the channel right now. Yesterday in part 1, we talked about the rumor mill firing up as the talks are continuing about the possible in-ring return for Daniel Bryan, which may be coming sooner than later. When? If you haven't heard, go check it out. I tell you just about when and everything that is currently being talked about pertaining to Daniel Bryan's return, which I'm absolutely psyched about. So hopefully everything comes to fruition the way it's being laid out, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Go check that out. Also, we talked about Mr. Roman Reigns, which is never a fun subject on this channel, and probably not a fun subject where you are sitting at right now in the comfort of your own home, probably enjoying a nice late night snack, or maybe you're watching me and it's probably maybe Sunday morning, maybe you got a nice coffee and a donut, right? You don't want to hear about Roman Reigns ruin your appetite? But I'm sorry, I got news on Roman Reigns. We talked about that yesterday, and why he might be the most delusional man in all of pro wrestling, or maybe he's just doing his job. Go check that out if you want to hear more on that. Tonight, like I said, is ladies' night. Ladies, don't forget, if you're not a part of the club, especially tonight, being that it's a night for you guys, why don't you join tonight? Hit that subscribe button. I would love you for life if you did. Big stories coming out of the women's division pertaining to the WWE. Let's start off with this one. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss make history. Sort of. Let's do this story. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss wrestled WWE's first ever women's match in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday. However, let's be honest here, because that's what we do on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. We bring the hammer down where the hammer is needed. And if you've been following the WWE on social media as it pertains to their overseas tour in the Arab Emirates across this week, you will see that they have many times listed this match to be the first ever match in the history of this country or in this area. That is not the truth. It is the first time the WWE is having a women's match in this region, but it is not the first women's match ever to take place in that region of the world. That honor would go, unfortunately, to Impact Wrestling, and they came to Abu Dhabi back in 2010. That was 7 years ago. Kind of old news. I was actually still interested in what was going on over there back then. 2010 they were still all right, and this match that they had was consisting of Madison Rayne, Sarita, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky, the Beautiful People, one of my favorite female tag teams of all time. They actually wrestled the first ever in the history of the United Arab Emirates. Not trying to take anything away from my girls Sasha and Alexa, but we have to call the WWE out. We have to bring that hammer out and smash it down when they want to try to pull the wool over the eyes of the world. Because, as far as Vince is concerned, if it didn't happen in the WWE, it didn't happen at all, right? Is that the road we're going down? Let's be honest. And let's continue to call it what it is, the WWE's first ever women's match in this section of the world. That is not what the point of the story is about, however. It is a very uplifting and emotional experience, as the boss would get to tell WWE.com after the event. The boss got incredibly emotional talking about it afterwards. Banks and Bliss both wrestled in full bodysuits, and according to the WWE, there were chants of "This is hope" from both sexes in the crowd during the match. An emotional Sasha Banks spoke to WWE.com when it was all over, and while fighting back the tears said, and I quote, "The moment the announcer announced that this is going to be a women's match, you could hear the crowd care. The moment I stood out there and saw little girls, it just made everything worth it. Because this is what I feel like I was put on this earth to do. I want to make change in the world, I want to empower women, and I want to let them know that their dreams are endless and they can achieve anything." You absolutely have to applaud that. You definitely can't read something like that and be a cold schmuck about it. It is what it is. There are not a lot of parts of the world that are fortunate enough to live with some of the freedoms that we are blessed to have here in the States, and as some of us do have many of these same rights and freedoms all over the world. But there are still sections of the world where it's not normal to see two women do such things, and they have to cover their bodies up out of respect for the religions and the cultures, and for them to be taking steps in these directions, it's a pioneering move. It's a very impactful moment for women all over the world. And to be able to know that in that crowd, there were little girls and probably guys as well that were inspired by their performance. They have made lifelong fans out of some of these people in attendance. It's a very, very big thing. And it should not be underplayed. This was a big moment for the girls out there. And I'm absolutely proud of them. I couldn't be happier for them. And I'm sure that they feel just as much pride as I do. Probably more. I'm just proud of them as part of the WWE universe. Like, wow, they really did something special over there. And it meant something. There were clips available on Twitter all day. If you were watching, as I was, a few of the clips, I mean, you could hear the crowd just really, really into it. And the girls just got into the ring. They didn't even start the match yet, and the crowd was, let's go Sasha, let's go Alexa. Everybody was into it. It's fantastic to see the impact that these people can have around the world. You know, they don't get to see them as much as we get to see them here in the States. Even you guys in the UK, all my friends across the pond over there, you guys know the feeling. You don't get the WWE as regularly as you guys would like to. You guys are still waiting for a WrestleMania. 34 years they haven't brought WrestleMania outside of the United States of America, other than Canada, which is still technically part of North America. So outside of North America, it has not gone. But they do certain things. You guys did have that epic SummerSlam. It's not beyond the realm of possibility for these things to happen. And even though this was just a little house show, a little live event in the middle of nowhere, it's a very, very meaningful and impactful thing. And I'm very happy for these girls and everything that they've accomplished. It's a big moment, and it needs to be recognized as such. Moving on to a little bit of a downer. At least for me it is. I don't know about you. But Tessa Blanchard. She's a friend of the show here. We got to meet her at House of Glory a couple of months back. We got another House of Glory show coming up this weekend where we're going to get to meet Ric Flair, who is very, very good friends with Tessa Blanchard's famous father Tully, Four Horsemen member. Of course, I don't have to tell you guys that, but my brain just has to spew out the facts. Tessa Blanchard noted on her Twitter that she is taking independent bookings in 2018, and that does not bode well for those of us who wanted to see her step foot in the WWE. It appears that she is not WWE bound as was expected. Tessa has wrestled several matches in NXT last year and was part of the Mae Young Classic, in which she was absolutely fantastic. She was friggin' great. One of the all-stars of that entire tournament, where she was eliminated in the first round by Kairi Sane. But that match, still, by the end of the tournament, was one of the matches I was talking most about. It was one of the first times I ever really seen Tessa Blanchard in such an elevated performance. And I don't know if you could attribute that to Kairi Sane or not, because when I saw her wrestle at House of Glory against Sonya Strong, that night she was just as good. This girl is fantastic, and the fact that she is not headed to the WWE as soon as everybody had assumed has got me on a little bit of a down note. There is so much potential with the arrival of Tessa Blanchard. Not only is she the girlfriend of Ricochet, who everybody's saying is WWE bound himself. It would be sad to see him here without his main squeeze, but the history between her and Charlotte Flair is something that they could build a whole entire women's division around. You could do Team Blanchard versus Team Flair and have girls choose sides. It doesn't have to be faction warfare, but you know, girls have friends and there are cliques, and that's how it should go down. Instead of it being a faction, just have the two cliques. These girls are both members of the actual family that is the Four Horsemen. Whose side do you want? Who's the better horsewoman? Maybe do you remove one of the Four Horsewomen of NXT and you create a Four Horsewoman of the WWE instead and let that NXT version be what it was and insert Tessa Blanchard. Maybe throw in a heel turn for one of them, have Tessa break out and be evil and disband the group and go after Charlotte because she's got the notoriety, because her father's more famous and's got more gold. There's so much they can do with Tessa Blanchard, and her talent is sorely needed in that ring. Because when you wrestle people of better caliber than you, and you do it as often as you do on a schedule with the WWE, you can't help but get better. And Tessa Blanchard would make stars out of a lot of these girls that are just coming up now. The Mandy Roses, the Ruby Riots. You put her against this girl, you're going to get them all over. Because that's how good Tessa Blanchard is. This is an absolute crushing blow for my inner wrestling fan that she is not headed to the WWE, at least in the next couple of months, as she is taking independent bookings for the year of 2018. We'll have to see how long that remains a fact. And maybe, by WrestleMania weekend, maybe she does end up signing and coming back and starting something. Who knows? We can't read the future. We're not friggin' psychics here. We're not fortune tellers. We don't know what's to come, but we could speculate to high hell, right? I hope to God she comes sometime soon. But from the story of one woman that is not coming, we go to tonight's top story, which is, according to the USA Today, Ronda Rousey is, in fact, finalizing the details that will bring her former UFC champion to the world of the WWE. It has not yet officially been announced by World Wrestling Entertainment, but it appears as if Rousey will be making her way to the squared circle in the very, very near future. The official story on this goes as such. Rousey has made appearances at WrestleMania 31 with The Rock, at the Mae Young Classic, and in November at an NXT live event to meet with fans, along with the 4 other Horsewoman members. Ronda Rousey has been training at times at the WWE Performance Center, which was shown in a December 1st video that was previewing her personal website. During the Mae Young Classic, the WWE teased the confrontation between the two 4 Horsewoman factions, with talk of having a match. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley versus Rousey, Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir at WrestleMania 34 in 2018. There was also a rumored match one-on-one against Charlotte, but no word yet if or when that will be happening. Last month, in an interview with Good Morning Britain, Triple H spoke about WWE's interest with Ronda Rousey. She is very interested in our business, always has been a huge fan. That's where the Rowdy Ronda came from. I think she's interested in the opportunity. I'm interested in offering her the opportunity, so we have some talking to do. If Rousey is finished with mixed martial arts, her record will stand at 12-2, losing only her final 2 fights, one to Holly Holm and the second to current UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Amanda Nunes. That is the end of the article, and we have got much to discuss as it pertains to the impending arrival of Ronda Rousey. This can go so many ways, and with the WWE, I really do not have faith in them to come up with any of the things that start bubbling around in my head. But here's what I can see. As of right now, when you look at the big picture, Shayna Baszler has been officially signed, but she is going to be placed in NXT. Ronda Rousey's not going to NXT. So I don't think they're going to jump right in with this 4 Horsewoman thing right now. It wouldn't really make much sense to do so. I know you teased it, but that doesn't mean you are locked in and have to do it now. There are a million roads we can take to get there, and when you have such a big angle like that, a highly anticipated thing, of that magnitude, maybe it's better to string the fans along and give them a reason to want to stay tuned. Maybe you build up Shayna Baszler to the point where, hey, maybe the outside fan who doesn't really know who she is and isn't affiliated with her MMA career might think of her as a true threat. It doesn't matter about what happened in the Mae Young Classic. That's happened. It's over. She didn't win. So now she has to establish herself once again in the squared circle and make herself look like a dominant force. So let's give her time to do that. Let's not rush into this. And the other two, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, as far as I know, they're not even in negotiations to come around. So it doesn't look like that seems to be the priority. So what, in fact, are they going to do with Ronda Rousey? The timing here is what's really going to give everything away. It seems that her training has been going well, and there are more and more rumors hitting the internet and more stuff hitting the dirt sheets about this actually happening, and it's going to be announced pretty much at any minute. And I truly believe that just because they announce it, that doesn't mean we're going to see Ronda Rousey show up on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, or next week, or even maybe before the end of the year. If they were smart, here's what they would do. You got Asuka, right? She's tearing ass up all over Monday Night Raw. She should be tearing it up much more lethally and doing it much quicker and not be selling for Alicia Fox live on a Monday Night Raw, but let's not get detracted from that. You're building up Asuka. Right now, she is being faced with the threat of the Absolution, right? Paige and her stupid minions. The best thing they could do from this point on, you have many, many weeks to fill before we reach the 25th anniversary show of Raw, which will coincidentally be the go-home show for the Royal Rumble this year. Stay with me. You have Asuka throughout the next couple of weeks. Take out everybody else she needs to take out. Dismantle the Absolution one at a time. The first two girls should be an absolute no contest. Just 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, Mandy Rose. Goodbye, Sonya the what's-your-name. And just see you next Tuesday. Alright? Get out of here. Leaving her to Paige. And you have that match at the 25th anniversary show for Monday Night Raw in the Manhattan Center, not at the Barclays, because it will be a much hotter crowd ready to go at any minute, ready to pop when Asuka wins this thing appropriately. And you have them go one-on-one to see who takes on the champion, Alexa Bliss, at the Royal Rumble. You don't have Asuka in this Women's Royal Rumble. Don't do it. It doesn't need to be done. You hold that spot for Ronda Rousey. Asuka's moment at the Royal Rumble, she wins the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair will have the Women's Championship on SmackDown Live. At that point still, I'm assuming. She might take part in a match at the Royal Rumble as well. Who knows? There's not that many girls on SmackDown, but we're not going to get detracted from the main point of the story, which is Asuka winning the title at the Royal Rumble. And then you have Ronda Rousey enter the first ever Women's Royal Rumble and win. This is probably going to anger a lot of people, but this is Ronda Rousey. She is effectively the Brock Lesnar of the women's division. A very weak women's division. The weakest of maybe all women's divisions that it's ever been. With the arrival of these green as grass NXT girls and everybody that's already been on the main roster just coasting along in a sea of fatal 4-ways and 5-ways and mixed tag matches and just nonsense. Nobody means anything. And that's terrible. Here's where the meaning comes in. You have somebody like Rousey come in and just tear through everybody. Have her have a couple of little moments in the Royal Rumble, maybe a stare down with Becky Lynch, maybe Shayna Baszler, since she's going to be on NXT, maybe she gets a little surprise nod up into the Royal Rumble since she was in the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Maybe her and Kairi Sane both have entry into the Royal Rumble. You have Ronda Rousey maybe with a stare down with her former best friend. What's going to happen here? Who knows? The possibilities are endless. The end result is Ronda Rousey wins the Royal Rumble. Now she has her choice. She has her choice because she has not debuted on a brand. She's debuted at the Royal Rumble. She will now effectively choose her brand by deciding which champion she's going to face, which both matches are marquee matchups. Sure, if you go the Flair route, you begin the horsewoman thing. But like I said, maybe we want to hold off on that. And you have Ronda Rousey go one-on-one with the Empress of Tomorrow at WrestleMania 34. Asuka destroys Ronda Rousey. Maybe not destroys, but Asuka comes out on top. And now you have solidified Asuka as the alpha female in all of pro wrestling. And then it becomes the chase. You know, it's the chase for Rousey to get another shot at the title. Maybe you eventually give it to her. I don't ever want Asuka to lose. So once she wins the title, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't want this back and forth hot potato shit to start happening again. That's definitely not what I want to do. But you also do have Paige on the outside. You can't leave her out. But look at the possibilities of the matchups we have if Ronda Rousey joins the Raw roster by chasing after Asuka. You have Ronda Rousey versus Paige, Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. It may look like a size mismatch to you, but I'm telling you right now, that'll end up being a great match. Could be something like a Shawn Michaels and a Kevin Nash. You know, the mismatch in size. It's a great match. If you know how to use the psychology to get the match over, it would be great. It's something that lacks when Sasha Banks goes up against a Nia Jax. They don't really play that dichotomy very well. Ronda Rousey's not as big as Nia Jax. She's not going to be as imposing as her, but she is going to be visibly larger, visibly stronger, and they could play that for all it's worth. Sasha Banks would be great at that. Bayley would do great at that as well. That's all we've seen is Bayley been getting her ass kicked. She would be great to be one of the first people Rousey just rips through. Somebody in the WWE hates Bayley as it is, so why not make her be the first casualty? If they have this Women's Royal Rumble, I fully expect Bayley to be entrant number 1 and the first one eliminated. And maybe it'll all be at the hands of Ronda Rousey. Maybe she'll be number 2. And as each girl comes out, she just takes them out one by one, never finding herself in a disadvantage. Winning it, going on to challenge one of the 2 girls at WrestleMania. There you have your debut of Ronda Rousey, and you could get over Asuka. If you want Ronda Rousey to win at WrestleMania, then send her to SmackDown Live. Send her to SmackDown Live, make her face and defeat Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. Kickstart that whole thing. Because you can't have Ronda Rousey come in and defeat Asuka. All the work that has been put in with her undefeated reign in NXT. Since she's been called up to the main roster, she has not been defeated in singles competition. She has not had her shoulders pinned to the mat. You cannot have her taken out by an MMA star. You know, it just wouldn't be right. It would negate everything they've done. Just like they've done with Shinsuke. They would end up doing the same thing with Asuka if they allow her to lose to Ronda Rousey. That is not what I want to see. That is not what I want to see. But I do want to see that match. And I would love for that to happen at WrestleMania 34. And, you know, also, I'm not playing it up. We're not talking about it too much. But Charlotte Flair. Also, that is a WrestleMania match. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. I would rather any of those than literally anything else. I don't care. I don't want to see Ronda Rousey debuting against Alicia Fox. I don't want to see her debuting in some stupid, mixed tag where it's been reported that Vince McMahon wants The Rock back and he's going to try to use Ronda Rousey as a bridge. And that just it baffles me when I read that and when I hear other people reporting on that. It's like, why would Vince need to go through somebody to get The Rock? Here are 2 guys that I'm sure have an open line of communication between one another. You think he needs Ronda Rousey to entice The Rock to come back? Maybe The Rock's just busy, bro. Vince McMahon wants Ronda Rousey to entice The Rock. Why do you gotta entice The Rock? All you gotta do is give him something good to do. Ronda Rousey is not something good for him to do. Look what happened last time you did it at WrestleMania. It was a 25-minute just friggin' hug fest, pretty much. All for Ronda Rousey to slap Stephanie McMahon. And if that ends up being the catalyst for her return, then I don't even want her to come. Let's just put that right out on the table right now. If the end game here is a match with The Rock and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania, I pass. I pass immediately. I don't care that it's Triple H. And I don't care that Triple H and The Rock have years of chemistry. I don't care. I want to see new people. I want to see new stories. I want to see things evolve and change. I don't want to have to go back to WrestleMania 31 and revisit this history of something that's happened years ago that nobody even gave a shit about when it happened initially. After that happened, the only thing anybody wanted to know is if Ronda Rousey was coming to the WWE. So here we are, years later. Ronda Rousey gonna show up in the WWE. If that's where they go, then they truly are as unoriginal and lacking creativity to the point where there's not even a word to describe it. There is no words to describe the depth of lacking that is the creative department in the WWE. However, they could choose to surprise us all and go down the road that I kind of just told you, which will lead us to Ronda Rousey versus Asuka. I also like the idea of her taking out Paige. Paige being the final stepping stone for Asuka as she has finally earned her shot at Alexa Bliss by going through a notable and very well liked and very much, what's the word? Not hated, but right now she's got a lot of heat. She's got a lot of heat. She's not hated, but people are not liking what she's doing with this absolution, and it would be great. It would be great to see Asuka go over on that. Use all of this, make all of this absolution nonsense be nothing but a vehicle to get Asuka over, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And that's absolutely where I hope to see them go. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Don't forget to check out part 1, which is live here on the channel. We might have a part 3 coming up for you guys tomorrow afternoon. We will definitely have a House of Glory 7 preview and prediction show coming to you guys this Friday, coming up right before the show. The show is this Saturday, man. If you are in the New York City area, get your ass right now to eventbrite.com or houseofglorywrestling.net. Get yourself a ticket. Come down and meet the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and then stick around for some great independent wrestling action. I will fill you guys in on the card during the preview show. Don't forget to check your eyes out on that one. And there will, as always, be the Monday Night Raw Review Monday, the SmackDown Live Review Tuesday, and we will be here with any breaking news in the world of sports entertainment, because that's what we do. We do that here, right here, on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you so much. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my little buddy, my trusty tag team partner, and the world heavyweight champion of microphones, Blue the Snowball Microphone. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Thank you guys once again so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you Monday for sure for the Monday Night Raw Review. Have a good one. I love you guys. Good night.